Myers-Briggs Type Indicator. The Myers-Briggs Type Indicator is a self-report inventory designed to identify a person's personality type, strengths, and preferences. The questionnaire was developed by Isabel Myers and her mother Catherine Briggs, based on their work with Carl Jung's theory of personality types. During World War II, they began researching and developing an indicator that could be utilized to help understand individual differences. Myers created the first pen and pencil version of the inventory during the 1940s, and the two women began testing the assessment on friends and family. They continued to fully develop the instrument over the next 2 decades. By helping people understand themselves, Myers and Briggs believed that they could help people select occupations that were best suited to their personality types and lead healthier, happier lives. Based on the answers to the questions on the inventory, people are identified as having one of the 16 personality types. The goal of the MBTI is to allow respondents to further explore and understand their own personalities, including their likes, dislikes, strengths, weaknesses, possible career, preferences, and compatibility with other people. The psychological preferences. First is the extraversion versus introversion. It is a way to describe how people respond and interact with the world around them. Where do you put your attention and get your energy? Do you like to spend time in the outer world and of people and things? That is extraversion. Or in your inner world of ideas and images? That is introversion. Extroverts, also often spelled extroverts. They are outward turning and tend to be action-oriented, enjoy more frequent social interaction, and feel energized after spending time with other people. On the other hand, introverts or the inward-turning tend to be thought-oriented, enjoy deep and meaningful social interactions, and feel recharged after spending some time alone. The second psychological preference is sensing over intuition or intuition. This involves looking at how people gather information from the world around them, or you pay more attention to the information that comes in through your five senses. It's sensing. Or do you pay more attention to the patterns and possibilities that you see in the information you receive? That is intuition. Sensing. People who prefer sensing tend to pay a great deal of attention to reality, particularly what they can learn from their own senses. They tend to focus on facts and details and enjoy getting hands-on experience. On the other hand, the intuition, those who prefer intuition pay more attention to things like patterns and impressions. They enjoy thinking about possibilities, imagining the future, and abstract theories. The third psychological perspective is thinking and feeling. This focuses on how people make decisions based on the information that they gathered from their sensing or intuition functions. When people make decisions, do you prefer to first look at logic and consistency, or you first look at the people and special circumstances? Those people who prefer thinking place a greater emphasis on facts and objects, or objective data. They tend to be consistent, logical, and impersonal when weighing a decision. When they make a decision, they like to find the basic truth or principle to be applied, regardless of the specific situation involved. On the other hand, those who prefer feeling are more likely to consider people and emotions when arriving at a conclusion. They believe they can make the best decisions by weighing what people care about and the points of view of persons involved in that situation. The fourth psychological perspective is judging and perceiving. This involves how people tend to deal with the outside world. Do you prefer to get things decided, or do you prefer to stay open to new information and options? This preference may also be thought as your orientation to the outer world. Those who lean toward judging prefer structure and firm decisions. They seem to prefer a planned or orderly way of life, like to have things settled and organized, feel more comfortable when decisions are made, and like to bring life under control as much as possible. On the other hand, people who lean toward perceiving are more open, flexible, and adaptable. They seem to prefer a flexible and spontaneous way of life and like to understand and adapt to the world rather than organize it. MBTI type dynamics. This is the interaction of your four mental functions and which ones you prefer to use first. This is important in understanding one's MBTI result. Here are some facts about type dynamics. The dominant function is your preference that has the most influence on you. Another is auxiliary function. This is the next strongest preference that is dominant. This is important because it serves to support and balance the dominant. The third strongest is the tertiary function. One preference is the least strong. This is the fourth function, often called the inferior function. There is one preference each person tends to show first to the outside world. The eight function attitudes are expressed very differently in the inner world and the outer world. The middle two preferences are called the function pair. Over the course of your life, different preferences may engage or may emerge and be used more often as well as more easily. This is referred to as type development. There are some things for us to take note in Myers and Briggs type indicator. First, the MBTI tool should be referred to as an instrument rather than a test or psychological assessment. Following ethical guidelines for use of the instrument, MBTI results should be given as part of one-on-one or group interactive feedback session that includes an explanation of type and verification of your preferences through your choice of best fit type. So these are my references. Thank you and God bless. Thank you for listening.